What we're gonna do next is something very different, something very important. We're gonna be talking about race, and the way race kind of affects the music industry and whatnot. We are going to be having special guest Ian McQuaid and Manga Saint Hilaire will be joining us, and Tim will be here as always, man. So, Scratcher, how are you, bro?
Yeah, I'm as good as I can be right now. You know what I mean? You know, I think we're all feeling it. We're all feeling. You know, we got this virus popping around, and then we got like this conversation, this needed conversation, like worldwide, that we need to have about racism. That has all come at once. You know what I mean? So it's kind of tiring. It's mad tiring. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're like on social media. I mean, it's not the first time I've come across something which is to do with racism, and I've just been like felt like angry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel some type of way, and I feel like I need to do something. So, you know, I'm most of the time making music, like, you know, during my day and night. But it's like I feel that like it was stopping me from doing what I readily do because I didn't feel like it was important. You know what I mean? I'll sit at Logic and I'm like, this isn't important right now because this is big. It's way bigger than music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me to continue doing music in the way that I want to, which is with everybody, no matter what race, I have to stop and talk about this. Big up Ian McQuaid, like in the room. I know you probably got a good few words to speak on what's going on, and maybe let us know what you do and who you work with.
Yeah, what I do is I have worked as a journalist for quite a few outlets like The Guardian, Vice, BBC, what have you. And then for the last 3 years, I've been running a record label called Moves Recordings, which releases mostly like rap, Afrobeat, drill, bashment. So I've worked with like Naira Marley, Afro B, Skengdo and AM. Did some stuff with Quang Face. Did a bit with Harlem Spartans. Fizzler, like Officer, quite a lot of different people, all from the scenes. There are serious issues and there are structural issues in our country, in every country in the world, really. You know, going back hundreds of years, and it can be pretty depressing confronting that. What SCRATCHA was saying there about it's like getting in his head. I understand that. I understand how it can be very interrupting when you're trying to work and then there's this stuff all over social media and you feel you need to talk about it. And for me personally, I think, you know, a useful thing to do today is talk about ways of trying to create new systems of working that actually get around these poisonous structures that are there that actually bring people down and they hold people back. And, you know, I've seen time and again talented young artists in this country, certainly, literally just getting sent to prison for fuck all. You know, like it's incredible the lengths that the system will go to penalise. I've just seen my battery's about to die. I can't believe this, lads. I'm so unprepared. let me charge my phone a little bit as well. But yeah, so what? Anyway, to wrap up this little opening thing from me before my battery carks, I definitely think that a thing to do is just try and consider new structures and new ways of working. And mostly that comes down to creating your own platforms, creating and owning your own ways of working, owning your own media, owning your own raves.
I think he's gone.
We've lost him. We'll get him back in a minute.
Yeah, I think he's gone. Okay. Yeah, no, it was interesting what he was saying. It was interesting what he was saying. I've actually got some questions for him, actually, because as a journalist, the stuff that goes on that we don't see, the stuff that they don't talk about because they don't want to talk about because the people ain't white, that's what I'm talking about. That's the type of racist journalism I'm talking about. The ones I see, I prefer that because I can see you're racist, fuck off. Do you know what I'm saying? But it's the other shit that we don't get to see what goes on in the office. That's what I don't like. And that needs to be weeded out.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say, like, from our perspective, wider than the media, not just the media, but also like local authorities, you know, the police, like people didn't want to know about grime. They didn't want to hear about grime. And if we were pitching grime to magazines, they were turning it down. If we were pitching it to brands, they were saying it's too rowdy, you know, it's too violent.
Yeah.
Fast forward 10 years, and now that you've got, say, Big Nasty on TV and Stormzy and Skepta touring the world, whatever it might be, suddenly they think grime's a commodity and they're trying to trade in that commodity and they want it. So we've seen a big change that we used to be trying to open doors for grime, and they were firmly shut. And now it seems to have changed. And if we're speaking about drill, people are like, oh no, it's violent. So what's going to happen in 10 years' time? Are you going to have like your Smugsy Ace or your whoever it might be, your S1? Are you going to have them on TV and as a star? And are you going to have people suddenly going, oh no, we want drill now. Drill's all right now.
Yeah. It's similar to what I was saying the other day about, you know, you saying that sometimes it takes it for someone to catch on to something to be like, oh, okay, this is okay. For example, like grime, the forefront of grime DJs who have all put in the work, but there's a reason why Kiss, One Extra, like the BBC, let's just say the BBC, and any mainstream radio station will call Logan, Westwood, Slimzy, Maximum before Spooky, Spyro or anyone else. There's a reason for that. And the reason is because white people need to be given our music by white people. It makes it completely different, like advertising it from a different color, from a different standpoint. And that pisses me off. Don't get me wrong, I'm not taking away from what Slimzy's done or anyone's done at all. Like Logan's put the work in, everyone has. But so is everyone else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you get me, so is everyone else. But I don't see them being heard at. You know what I'm saying?
You know what?
And let's be real. I don't care. If we one more thing. Sorry to cut you, but one more thing. Let's be real. Like Spyro's got that job now, but it wasn't offered to him in the first place. Logan fucked up with the Twitter thing, or someone fucked him up, and then Spyro got the job. You know what I'm saying? But Spyro should have just got that fucking job. No disrespect to Logan, but Spyro should have just got that job anyway. We shouldn't have to, like, just because you fucked up. And this is the racist shit I'm talking about. You feel me? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say how, like, it has always been like that, like since I've been a kid, innit? But like the introduction of Kenny All-Star was like a proper breath of fresh air to me, innit? Like, because obviously after Tim, they went to Charlie, and it was almost like they were repeating what they had always done. And I just thought, you know, Kenny All-Star coming in is super important to everything that's kind of going on in urban music right now.
I remember when Charlie came about as well, and he came from nowhere, and there were people who had been putting in the work, and he came around as like a sort of internet joke, if you know what I mean. Like he was on YouTube doing kind of like almost comedy sketches. To me, maybe I'm misinformed, but he seemed to kind of come out of nowhere. And when he landed that big gig, it was like, how can this happen? How can, when there's people who have been putting time in and the natural heir to that throne, how can it go to this guy who's just like young Tim Westwood? You know, I didn't get that at all, but I should have got it because it's exactly what you're talking about, Scratch. And it's, you know, it's the what is it? What is it?
It's racist.
Is it the
it's racist.
Yeah, but is it? But who is it then? Is it the commissioners at the BBC and the commissioners at who's?
Yes, I think we need more Austin Darbos in the building, right? We need more Austin Darbos. We need more Dummies in the building. More Twimbies in the building. Like the more, then you know, because if Austin Darbos in the building, there's more chance of Kenny All-Star and like all these people, like, you know what I'm saying, to get chosen. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they, you know what I mean, they might be being squeezed to do something, but we just need more of us in the building to make a change. Mm-hmm. That's what I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
we saying, Manga.
Oh, you man can see me.
Yeah,
You jumped in there.
I just got a link in it. What's that in?
Yeah.
The BBC thing is obviously it always depends on who's in charge at the top at the time and what direction they're trying to go in. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously now you got different people in there. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes they try to, fill quotas and make sure everything's covered. Obviously BBC is government in it, so they want to make sure everything's covered. You know what I mean? And obviously we know like more time who the audience is for this type of music anyway. Even though it might come from a certain place, the audience is also a different way and they react to a certain thing. So like I heard half the conversation you said about Charlie. Obviously Charlie's a character, he's big and bold and rare. Whereas sometimes I feel like if you're a black brother doing that, you look mad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what you're saying. It's like, they they feel, I guess, or because it's like if I'm doing it, if I'm going on there playing like music which might be seen as if, then it's aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Whereas if Charlie's playing it, bare bombs and that, it's like, oh, it's okay because he doesn't look, so it can't be aggressive.
No, well, I think it's a bit different. I think, well, in terms of like the BBC thing, I think it's just because Westwood worked. Like Westwood was out there from time, you know what I'm saying, earned his stripes, done his thing. I'm not saying Charlie did it, but I'm trying to say done his thing. And I felt like this wanted a replacement for that. Do you know what I mean?
Listen, I have to keep saying it. I'm not taking away from what anybody's done. People have put the work in, but it's like we've got Maximum, we've got Slimzy, we've got, we've got Jack that even. I just feel that like they will always get chosen for these sort of positions before us because they need that it's okay, it's a white DJ vibe.
Well, but I know what you mean. I feel like, I don't know, obviously I'm not a DJ, so I don't know how the politics behind that works in it. But in terms of like, I always say like MCs and that's been the way for before. Do you know what I mean? Like, all right, cool, you can be decent MC guy, you're just around them and you can just breeze through way easier. You're just easier on the eye. You're easier to like for the audience to digest and rare, and they'll definitely get more opportunities than a black MC, 1,000,000%.
I can't remember who told me this, but I do remember somebody saying that when Roll Deep was doing the album, I don't know if it was a manager or someone at the label, requested that SCRATCHA take the first verses or make sure he was in the videos. Is that true?
To be fair, I'm not saying it's not true, but I wouldn't know that, because like I don't know if we're gonna get on that later. Like, see, when you go into the labels and all that, I didn't go into a label till 2012, 13.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like into them buildings and that, and I was like, raw, there's no one here, like, man. This is who run things. That always threw me off. I thought, this is mad. You lot don't know nothing about, man. Who are you? And then I kept seeing it all the time. So I kept seeing people like working at certain sites or certain things, and they're just flying up the ranks, bro. Like, oh yeah, they got a job. They was intern, and now they're A&R, and now they're head of thing. You thinking, and then that one's they're just all swapping roles and just going, just flying up the ranks. And I feel like I don't want to say stuck. It's kind of changing now, but stuck to doing the hard work. You're just eating off our thing. Like, we're doing all this stuff, and then our thing's not secure. But you lot are secure all the time. You're just swapping around the jobs. You work at Warner now. You work at Sony. You work at this one and that one. That, yeah. And we're just here creating all these things, and this shoot's gone jail. This one's not doing it anymore because you can't afford it. And then it doesn't matter because there's going to be a new set that you're going to twang and go through in a minute, like literally in a minute. It's mad. But yeah, like Oblig said, when I sat down, I said, yo, this is mad. That's why it's nice to see. I know that I've probably come halfway through the conversation. It's nice to see like us man there now a bit
on the radio,
and not just DJing or MCing. Like, obviously targets that head of music at one extra.
No, I understand that, but you're right. I mean, I think that while I'm making music, I always have the radio in the background, whether it be Rinse, Capital Extra, One Extra, whatever. And I was saying this the other not too long ago, just on Twitter, like like Radio 1 especially, like, it's come a long way from when people like Kano was struggling to get one tune off his album on the radio. It's like now The whole day is this. We've got the radio. We have got the radio.
But
like there ain't no
the
bands on there, no.
Nah, but it's only because it's to the people now. Because if it's still up to them, our music would still be seen as less than, and our messages would still be seen as less than. It's only now the numbers speak for them. So obviously, which I don't know if over you work at what can I say? You got YouTube, yeah? Yeah, and you can see the numbers of bait.
They just released like the 100 most popular tunes of the last decade, and the highest band was Kasabian, and they were like at number 53. And the tune that they had in the top 100 was from the decade before, so it wasn't even a new tune. It had just kind of gone over.
Yeah,
everything's changed in the past like decade. It's mad.
And Kasabian are massive.
Yeah,
and they will sell out arenas and go world tours and rare. Whereas someone from Arting could have them big, massive numbers, and then they can't go anywhere. So that's why when you're saying like Radio 1 and all these whoever else, these stations, these publications, like, yeah, man, come on, because it's just the data. If our thing drops off and it's not the thing anymore, they don't care. They just care about the data and you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it looks like, oh yeah, we're winning. It's only winning because by force, because it's taken out of the hands of the people who think they know. It's direct.
But it's just there. The numbers is there. It's like, why aren't you playing this?
I never forget, one of the most eye-opening things that I ever had at YouTube, right? One of the biggest kind of things that we have to do on a daily basis is the battle with drill and YouTube and kind of videos getting taken down and, you know, censorship and blah, 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 blah. And the lady who had been put in charge of that particular operation, she emailed me, innit? She was like, yo, can we go for lunch? You know? And now I've gone for lunch with her and she's gone, right, don't know anything about drill. Well, talk me through it. I've had to spend that whole hour telling her, right, this is what's going on. This is what Ching means. Like, do you know what I mean? It was like,
oh no, wow.
I remember saying, this is really what's going on in this building. Like, it's a mazza.
See, but that happens at radio as well when they're going for these edits. They don't even know what they're editing. They're so scared they're just reversing the whole song. They don't know what anything means.
Yeah.
But that's the whole point. See what Oblig said. So why hasn't Oblig got that job? Why is he not?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Because I feel that, like, if you care too much about the music, you ain't getting the job.
You know what? You're so right. Let me interrupt you. There are two people, right? There are two kinds of people in these industry jobs, right? There's the music heads, and there's the corporate political heads, right? And most of the time, they don't know how to do this, and they don't know how to do this, and it works because of two. It's like, I don't know how to conduct myself in corporate scenarios, but there's somebody next to me who knows how to do it, who takes my knowledge and then puts it in a certain way, or like they take, or I take some of their stuff and I know how to talk in meetings and blah blah blah, and it's all a bit of a mess.
But there shouldn't be a way to conducting corporate meetings. It should be
exactly. Exactly.
They slowed us down with for bare years talking about, no, you have to talk like my manager has to speak to. Like, if I come to you now, I'm gonna say, yo, I want to go YouTube. I got to send my manager because he knows how to speak. What do you mean knows how to speak, brother? Can this happen? Yes or no? But they've always put that person or people in front of her, like you said, bro. You know what to do. You know what to do. So you should be the person talking to the people. That's it.
Really.
How we break that down is we have our own platforms. Like, we need to build our own platforms where we are the people that people need to come speak to. If we can't be in them seats, then we make them platforms. Like Diddy, Diddy has his platform. Money. It's money, yeah. But you've got to start somewhere. Diddy.
No, you have to start.
Money.
I feel like we have started. We started before, but the difference is, like, when it's to get to the, the wider audience. You know what I'm saying? It's the P. You know what I mean? When really it should move. We always talk. Not we always talk. We talk about America saying, like, yo, Diddy and Thing have done it, but we forget that in America, like, in Atlantis and Atlantic, they got this person, they got that. Like, there are people in these buildings that have built the buildings up too. So Oblig should be in YouTube and be the person we go to speak to on YouTube, and Target should be the person I want to actually speak to, and No Signal, and we should be talking to Scully and all. Like there should be us man there talking as equals as well, and have our own platforms. We should have people in these buildings that of importance and understand the thing,
Yeah.
and also have our own space. That's why I love see like what No Signal doing. They're separate. You know what I mean? Here's our thing here. Same way Henry's on Represent, and she does things at One Extra, and Scully's at One Extra, and think all these things here. We should have that too. They should be in all these spaces. We should be in all the spaces with our voices being heard. Yeah. So what I was gonna say with the Henry and Scully and the newer generation is that they don't have these. They don't see why we was doing that. Like, see when the other day when I don't know what Clash was on and they were playing the pop tunes, they were like, why was man doing this? Do you know what I mean? They don't have the same issues or the same. They just see no limits, and they shouldn't. It should always be better for the next people. I mean, they said, bro, well, we can't get on this station, or we want our station to sound like this. We'll make a station, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they can do that.
Just make one.
That's it. Whereas before, like you're saying, we're like, oh, let us in and do this, and we're making rhythms for the radio or making rhythms for the wider audience and all this jazz. We're like, bro, we don't have to do that anymore, bro. We just make the rhythm.
That right there. That's right there. That's what you've said that maybe 3 times now. The wider audience, which in my head, the wider audience in my head is a white audience. So if you think about grime is going to be on a big scale and it's going to be a wide audience. We're not going to think of a mass of black people in the crowd. We're just not, are we?
Not,
you know what I'm saying?
Why
not? Like why? Like this is what I want to talk about. Why not? I mean, maybe we can save it for later. But yeah, like we need. That's another thing about.
I know why.
When we think about wider audience, it's not black people. There is a lot of black people, bro. Like
there is.
Anyway, maybe I should save it for when Shannon. But
I know. I know why. I feel like I know why. It's because in terms of the wider, like when it's black people, it's trendy. It's now, and it has to be speaking to the black people. I feel that grime hasn't spoke to black people in ages. All the black youths listen to drill. All the black youths listen to Afro beats. All black youths listen to dancehall. They're not searching for a wider audience. Grime, got lost, and they don't speak to us, man, anymore.
The O2 is full of black people when on a certain night. Where are them people when it's grime? You know what I'm saying? When it's a grime rave, you know, where are these people?
The music has to.
You know what I'm saying?
The music has to be speaking to them. When I used to go to Eskimo dance in Watford before I was MC, the first Eskimo dance, in the dance they play grime, they play dancehall, and they play hip hop, and there'd be bare people there, black people, rare. That's where all the Pengal were. That's where the man then went. Go to a grime rave now. It's not that. You're hearing grime from start to finish. There's nothing wrong with that. I like to hear that. But I'm trying to say it's not the rest of the culture is not there. It's just cool. We're here for nostalgia. We're here for the reloads. We're here for the. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's not saying there's not black people there. Because obviously we're just talking in broad terms. But I'm like, it's nothing there for them. So when you go to when my little cousins them listen to drill, I listen to drill as well. But when they hear it, they're hearing themselves. Yeah. And when they hear Afro beats, they're hearing their motherland, they're hearing where they're from. When I hear dancehall, like when I watch the Bounty and Beanie thing, and I listen to Governor and I listen to Idonia, I'm hearing how man speak at home and the things I grew up on. But obviously in the evolved version, like Coffee and Chronics and these people that I've listened to, I've listened to when I was a kid, but it's the same tree.
I was gonna say, Ian, just as we got from onto drill. I mean, let's just say what it is. Grime ended up being whitewashed. Yeah. Not that it's like grime is still great music, but when you go to a rave, you might say it's been whitewashed. Do you think that will happen to drill? Because when you look at drum and bass and you look at pretty much every other UK music that comes in, will drill just be whitewashed as well? Same way, like you'll go to a drill party and there won't be any black people there, but there'll be hella black people on the stage. Like, can you see that for the future?
I mean, yeah. I mean, you just nailed it, bruv. You just said, look at jungle, into drum and bass, look at grime. The world would have had to change completely for that not to happen. And I mean, to be honest, having been on tour with some of the lads, I was on tour with 410, and outside London, some of the shows were, even at this stage, early on, in their careers when they're still, this is when they got the injunction for performing tunes, so it's probably drill at its rawest stage. You know, when we were doing some of the shows in Manchester, loads of the crowd were white anyway in those situations. What we found was, and this is an interesting little quirk that you get, right, is that when we do the ticketed venue shows where you buy the ticket in advance, it's like curfew at 11 p.m, all of that, you know, 14 plus, it was often a lot more of a white audience anyway. And then the club shows where the boys would roll up, do a PA, they'd do Mad About Bars, they'd do Macaroni, whatever, right? And that one, it'd probably be like 80-90% black, right? And those are the ones going on 2, 3, 4 a.m. in the morning.
So why is that? Why do you think that is?
I feel like when it's the white youths, yeah, they want to get involved. They, you know what I'm saying, they buy a ticket, they feel safe, they can go to the shows. That's why they love the drill thing. It's all online to them anyway. Like, it's online, you can just type what you want, go to the shows, it's fine, it's all safe. You know what I'm saying? Whereas like you said, when it gets to the after party thing, it's man them just on ends rolling out to a dance, like how we would normally roll out to a dance to hear some vibes. You know what I mean?
If I'm going to jump in and build on what you're saying there, right, is I think it's the different ways that people consume the music, right? And I think that for a lot of the black audience, right, the drill sound is part of a culture, is part of a scene where one or two tunes from an artist, they fit into a whole world of music, right? So you want to go to the club and hear all the bangers played, right? And maybe when it crosses over into the white audience who maybe consume their music in more traditional media forms, they think of things in terms of bands. Oh, I follow this band, you know, that's like, so they want to go and see the full set of all their tunes, right, you know, which is something, what's happened there is that it's kind of a format has been forced upon the music because people have felt that that's a way of making money, you know, and successfully. I mean, the transition of grime from something that was 20 man on stage to something that's a slick touring production has made a small amount of people a lot of money. For me personally, it's also removed the sound from its roots and meant that now if you go to a shubs or whatever you want to call it, you probably ain't going to hear a grime tune because the music, it's got a different energy. It's in a different place.
So it goes back to what you were saying, Manga, earlier about, you know, grime used to be part of the dance when it was dancehall and like R&B, and then you have a grime set. Same with UK Funk. I used to be in the club in Purple E3, and like, you know, Cold as Ice and all these crews, Invasion crew, that play all their dancehall. Maybe that's what's lost, you know what I mean? Being part of just black music. You know what I'm saying?
The energy ain't gone nowhere. The energy from grime ain't gone nowhere. That energy is still there in drill. It was there in funky. It's there in garage. It's there in jungle. That keeps on going on. And maybe what happens is that when the name becomes really rigid and form, and it becomes a bit more of a formula, then you have maybe people that are less in the culture find it easier to copy it and clone it. And for me, that's when things start getting a bit dead, you know, to a degree. But what I would say that the positive thing to take is that first, that energy that you're talking about, things in the dance, that remains, you know. And so perhaps it's maybe the beauty or the power of black music is its ability to be constantly inventing stuff and actually trying to hold it back and be like, oh, we should keep on doing this retro thing. Maybe that's actually not a good thing to do to it, you know. Maybe it is good to develop and keep moving and keep innovating.
Yeah, of course.
We're going to keep copying, you know.
We got everyone on the Twitch putting in comments, and I'm trying to read some, and there's a lot of interesting stuff on there. But I've got just while we got Ian here, I know you're here as a artist manager, someone who's, you know, even been to court with some of your artists who you work in drill. Yeah. This is from someone called People Like USJP. He says, "Why are white musicians not held accountable?"
I mean, yeah, racism is the answer. Like, there is a disproportionate weight of a legal system that is applied to black people than to white people in this country, and the reason is that, you know, there are systems of racism in this country that were created as economic, you know, ways of control. And I mean, how deep do you want to go? I mean, you know, this is a system of resource extraction that goes back a long time.
Do you think that maybe more of yourselves could do more to like help change what's going on for the people you work with every day? Because maybe like more can be done with you guys to do something about racism in music? Do you think from now, like forward, there will be more active stuff happening? This ain't gonna be some like Instagram fucking face. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, I wish I could give you the lovely fairy story version that this will be a turnaround or a changing point, but I'm old enough to be a bit more cynical about it than that. You know, the people who want to do stuff are probably already doing it. There might be a few young people that are like inspired. There's a lot of very solid framework that has to be dealt with. And can people in my position do more? Yeah, they should be. They all should be. There's like a lot of people that I speak to that I think it's extremely fucked up if you're at a label and, you know, the majority of your artists are black and the majority of your employees are white. That's a fucked up position to be in. You know, I think like, and I on my own account, the minute I started getting power, I started making sure that anyone who got hired looked more like the artists than like me, you know, like, and then you try and replace yourself in the end. But representation at that level is one thing you can do. I don't know that that has a massive impact on the overriding power structures in our country. The model that I look to as the most successful model for trying to counteract the kind of the dominant power structures in this country is what went on with jungle music, because they created their own economy and their own power structure, right? They were like, right, we run the raves, we run our labels, we even create, right, the mainstream media don't want to fuck with us, they just take the piss out of jungle or they misrepresent it, right? We just make our own magazines, we make our own, you know, our own video outlets, whatever. They did everything. And what that meant is that on the one side of it, you will never get Brocky getting a Brit Award, right? Like, that ain't going to happen. The only way any of them got any of that success is if they signed to a major. That's why Ronnie Size got a Mercury, is because he was going to be talking about major work, right? If you make peace with the fact that basically fuck that mainstream system, it hates you anyway, so hate it back. This is my standpoint, right? These guys will never love you unless you just jump through hoops for them, right? You create your own power structures, you create your own systems of power, and then you can have an amazing career outside of this. You know, you're always going to be to a degree underground, but personally, my feeling on it is that when the mainstream is such a toxic place, I would rather the underground. But what you've got to be able to do is you've got to be able to feed your kids, you know? So you have to be able to have that control. So I think everything that I can try and do from my standpoint is try and encourage people to do things which on a basic level falls down to stuff like making sure that artists still own their masters, you know?
I think a lot of artists don't even understand that, you know what I mean? And don't even understand the importance of having your masters. They do when it's 10 years later and they realize how much money they're losing, but they don't understand the importance when they're signing deals. So it's important to speak on that.
The saddest thing in the drill scene is the way that people go at each other, and they don't realize that the opposite of the government, right? And like, if there could just be a way that like we could actually get over that and actually have people unify a little bit more.
Like Manga was saying earlier, it's the streets, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's the streets, and that's what's in the streets. So that's what's happening. You know what I mean? Like they're products of their environment, and they're in the streets, so they're talking about it.
So I think once examples in like for the drill artists, once some of them start to make money and start to change their families' lives and do these things like more and more, then you'll see it's like the same thing what happened with Graham. Once we saw Ra, Wiley's made this much peak, Lethal's made this much peak, that alright, we're not spending so much time arguing over every smaller things. You know what I mean? It's always gonna be tension because it's bare man them, just you know what I mean, that's how man them are. But I think once it's not everyone feels like they're at the bottom, everyone wants to be the one, not being the one broke or whatever. So there's always going to be that thing.
Oh, Shannen's here. Yes, I know you've got some viewpoints to share on it as a someone who's working at a record label. Someone who's a event planner, DJ, black. I don't want to say female, but you are. You know what I'm saying? You. I know you've got a lot of thought on this racism in music. What's your standpoint?
I want to pick up on something that you were talking about earlier about, for example, like having a grime night and like black kids not wanting to turn up because it's not for them or whatever, even though the music is for them. I think that has a lot to do with like how black kids are treated when they go to clubs. Like I've seen it at events that I've run myself. When black kids turn up, they get searched. Like
Yeah.
they get assaulted a lot more than anyone else. It's obviously going to put them off going to the actual nights, even though it's black music.
Yeah.
I never even thought of that. That's so true. That's so true. Enough true.
That's the night that like I've run before, like where we've had an all black lineup, and then black kids will turn up and they're just getting harassed in the door, and they don't want to put themselves through that, you know.
And that's if the night goes ahead. That's if the night goes ahead as well. You know, I mean, it's even that. It's even like nights don't even go ahead because they know there's too many black people coming, or nights are like they're gonna get locked off because there's too many black people in the club. Or not event promoters can't even promote events because club owners know that they're gonna bring a load of black people. So it's that as well.
Yeah.
Somehow we need to break down. You know what I'm saying?
When I was done one of my headline shows, I was trying to find a new venue because one of my venues got shut down. They were trying to ask me. They were definitely trying to ask me for pictures of my previous things. I basically want to see who was coming. You know what I'm saying? Like, what type of people are there going to be there? Blacks there? Black.
I would just Photoshop that, bruv. Just Photoshop, bruv. Photoshop some
I
nice.
said black people are rolling, fam. I said black people are rolling, bruv. Black people are rolling. That's what I said.
Nah, man. Photoshop like ultra festival or something, and then just on the night, surprise, motherfucker.
No, because you know why I'm not surprised. What Shannon said is she's right, because when they get there, if I say make it a surprise thing and all my people them get there, it's hassle. It's a different approach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want it to be like all manhandled and I was a club I was meant to do, Camden Assembly, Wasteman Club. They always deal with man rough. And I was meant to do a show there, but they're connected with XOYO and I fun with them.
Columbia Group,
Oh, is it a group? See, I don't even know these things. Obviously, I'm just trying to do my thing. Anyway, anytime I've gone there to do a show, they're always dealing with man rough. Like man, some hooligans, brother. Like I said, more time I was throwing out me and my girl, like come and I've said I'm never doing a show here because that was suggested to me a few times. Because it was like my shows are like 250 to 300 cap or 100 whatever. So that's a good venue to do, like size wise. But I thought, nah, but the way they deal with man is rough, and the way they deal with like they're not trying to hear man like that. So I'll never deal with them people there. But you're not meant. I want them to say, there's bare black people coming. There's everyone, but there's bare black people coming, and I want my people to be dealt with properly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Papa. Listen, I remember one time. I went to play in Wow and Lightbox. I got there. I'm playing with my friend. Got to the door. Obviously, I'm not like I'm playing. I've just gone straight to the front of the queue to be searched, ready to be searched. And Donny's like, go and get the queue. I'm like, well, I'm playing. Like, and that pissed him off because he really wants to tell me to get to the back of the queue. You know, no one's there. And then, so he's like, all right, cool, wait there to be searched. So I'm waiting to be searched. When the person comes over to search me now, he says, oh, no, your boy can't come with you. He's got to go and queue up. Are you serious? Just because he was pissed that I was a DJ, he told my boy I had to go and queue up in that long queue and I had to wait for him to come in. Like, so fucking dumb.
I've had that as well. I've had like other, like my friend OK Williams. She gets that as well. When she goes to a club, you're having to like argue that you're actually a DJ, that you're meant to be there, that you're meant to be playing, and argue your way in.
How do we deal with that?
There must be like black-friendly clubs, right? Their door policy isn't so anti-black as like the popular clubs in London. Like there must be some that we can share with each other that we know like it's okay to do a party here.
Yeah. Birthdays was one. I used to do bear shows at birthdays. They were calm.
That's gone now. That's gone, isn't it? Yeah.
Birthdays blacklisted everything though, bro. Birthdays did a madness because the police. I mean, me and Tim were both blacklisted from there, as was everyone who played any rap music. Because one time, this is something I was going to say. Like, what happens with like any? This is the maddest thing that doesn't happen to like white majority white nights at all is that anything that happens at one night where there's black people is then applied to every other night. Like there's only one black person in London and they just go to everything. You know, I mean, it's crazy. So what happened was that there was a time that 6-7 played at birthdays. There was trouble in Dalston, around about a mile away from the club. The police said that was because 6-7 had played in birthdays. They didn't have any evidence that this was the case, but they were like, that's because of that. At that point, everyone who played at birthdays who had put rap on their flyer at any point in the last 6 months got put in a blacklist in Dalston.
You know what's mad? That show he's talking about, yeah, my first headline show was a couple of weeks after that, and they did try to lock it off.
But in birthdays?
They were blaming on the, yeah, but they were blaming it on the police and saying this, that, and the third. And I remember that they tried to lock off the show. And you know what's mad? I'll be real. I think it's only because man had the, you know, the roll deep thing and all this jazz from what they. It's the only reason that they knew it wasn't drill and things like that. It was grime, which is seen as safer now. That kept me in my.
Wait, why is grime seen as safer now? Why?
Because it's whitewashed now. It's not really. It's not. So they don't see it as. It's not dangerous anymore. You don't just shout at each other. We understand.
Loads of different black music, like house, techno, is all being co-opted and whitewashed to the point where black people aren't going to the nights anymore. So it's okay for those nights to keep going ahead, like unbothered. For example, with the event that I've been doing, like I've found it really difficult to get black kids to come to the club. But then when I saw the way that some of them got treated on the door, it made a lot of sense. And then me and SCRATCHA were kind of saying, like, when it's black music with black people, is it impossible to fill out a club if it's not like a concert at the O2 or whatever? So I was just telling him about this Amapiano party I went to, which is like this South African, like 110 BPM house music, and it's pretty weird. Like it's weird sounding. I saw that Vigro Deep, who's like one of the main guys from that scene, was playing, and I went and everyone there was South African. It was just filled with it had sold out and it was filled with black people, and I was like, how have they managed to do this?
Can I just jump in there? Can I jump in? Because like I feel like I hate saying back in the day, but before, you know, you listen to pirate radio, Deja, whatever it be, and you hear the adverts, and you know it's going to be black people there because it was this kind of like, it's because they've got the adverts on the radio. Do you know what I mean? Like it's on Rinse FM, it's on Deja, it's like, so it's going to black people because they're hearing it on the radio. But do you think that the way we're doing it now, promoting on the net, is the reason why black people? Another reason why, not because maybe we've lost the pirate aspect of it. Do you think that could be?
No, I don't think that. I don't think that, because I think the stations and the music for black people, they turn up sometimes. Okay, so I don't really know much about Afro beats, yeah, and then I live in Woolwich, so I live near the O2. And then when WizKid was playing at O2, it was obviously super full, but I never heard nothing about it because that's not my what I listen to. So I was like, raw. But then again, when it's completely different. When Buju Banton was at Afro Nation, I knew all about that. Do you know what I mean? So I think even more so in terms of like the net and things like that, where you promote it to, it's even more focused than before. So where it would be on the station, like on Rinse or something like that, it's to everyone can hear it. And if you know, when you're going to ZKs and all these Purpley Free, all these clubs or whatever, you know it's going to be black people there because of the type of, you know, the advert is. Now it's going direct to the people. It's going direct, but it's definitely that the stations are like they can't. It's not really the same. I'm saying, but again, if you look at like again No Signal and they got Recess and it's like that's bare black people in that dance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what.
Do you, Shannon? There was something else you said about the door policy thing. Do you care to share about that idea?
I was like toying with the idea of like starting a club night, but because like my area is kind of more like dance music, it's all black music. Some of it has been so co-opted that like black people don't even know that it's black music.
But
I was just saying it might be interesting to run a night where black people get in free. And
yo, like that would be sick though. No. Think about it though, Manga. Listen, if you're performing at a night where black people got it free, if you're performing at a night where black people got it free, or like black people was £5 and white people was £10, and it was a mixed club. I mean, like that's a start of something nice right there.
Yeah, but I'm not going to put a damper because I rate that thing there. The only thing is it'll just be spun into, well, see, if we done that, nah. Like, I don't really go out too tough because I do shows, so I get to be outside anyway and do all that jazz. I tried to go to somewhere in Basildon with my cousin and my brother and all that jazz. They weren't trying to let a man in, bruv. Do you know what I mean? They're not trying to let us in. So it is the same thing, if that makes sense. Like,
it's the same thing, yeah.
It's not money like you're saying, let black people free and white people pay £5. But it's the same as you have to come in your attire. You can't come in your hoodie and your thing. You got to come in, get your shirt out, get your whatever we feel like is appropriate for you to get in. So it's the same surcharge, the type of thing. Like, I got to go there, and like I said earlier, I got to go there with two. Me and my brother go in. No, me and my girl, my brother go in. So there's 2 boys and a girl, and then there's my 2 cousins.
You got to do all the mathematics before you go in.
Have your shoes got air bubbles? Does this have this? Then you make sure your hair's don't have your dreads out, bro. Make sure that that's £5, bro. That's the same thing. Exact same thing.
It's true. That's what I don't think. Listen, currently, like, especially now, it doesn't sound like a million miles off something which I think is going to a good cause. Like, it's like, yo, listen, this is black music, and you've been profiting, or not you personally, but white people have profited off black music for many years. We've been shut out of our own things. We've been not letting things like give back by paying to come in, and we're going to be free. That doesn't sound like a crazy thing to me. I don't know.
You know what? This is something that like queer black nights have been doing. They will charge like straight white men to get in to the club.
Yeah.
So it works. You know what I mean? It does work. There's so many people saying stuff on the Twitch. It's crazy. I mean, how have you experienced classism and its linguistic expression affecting corporate conversations?
Oh, they just feel like you don't know what you're talking about because of the way you're speaking. That's it. All it is. And like I said, I'll be honest. In the last, I didn't get into like the meeting section of stuff. Talking down with people. I was just doing everything myself. You know what I mean. So like when it was all like the roadie, like we was doing the pop songs and all that jazz there, I wasn't in the meetings like that. But when I did get to the meeting section, it's just like they just feel like you don't know what you're talking about. But by then I was too confident in what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter how I'm saying it. I'm calling you a brother and you're a girl. Everyone's brother, innit? I'm just saying how I'm speaking. I was too confident in what I'm saying. But if I was to do the same thing, if I was to, like, say I popped off and I was like Chipmunk, yeah, and I was 18 and I was in all these offices and everyone's talking at me, I wouldn't know what to do because I wouldn't be as strong in my beliefs and what I know what I'm saying, because I think you lot know better because you lot are in these shady offices. And realistically, I know what I'm saying, bro. And I might not know the proper way to say it, but I'm going to talk my things up how I know. But obviously, again, I'm a big hard back man now. I know what I'm talking about. So I don't really, to be fair, I don't even business. I speak like this when I'm on the phone to EE and the council and my girl and whoever. Do you know what I mean?
I know a lot of artists. They might not even have the confidence to go into a meeting to talk for themselves.
But remember what we were saying earlier, we go to these offices and no one looks like us. So you're thinking, so I need to adjust how I'm speaking. Like when you're black all the time, everything is an adjustment. Do you know what I mean? Like we go and we adjust everywhere we go. It's always a different version of ourselves when we're going. And that's why when we do things for ourselves, it's sick. We're so overwhelmed. We don't even know what to do with ourselves when it's something for us. And I speak to you two here and it's like, yes, I could just talk.
I mean, the more we get into the buildings, the less we're going to have to do that anyway.
No, the more we just do it, is better. Not even wait for us to think. The more we do it and just make them learn rather than waiting. Do you know what I mean? We just do it. We go there and talk how we talk. You man figure it out.
Yeah. Oh, someone said I would like to hear more from Shannon.
One thing I kind of wanted to talk about is, you know how things have been blowing up on social media, right? There were so many platforms like record labels music platforms, fashion companies, whatever the fuck, that owe everything that they have to Black culture, and they just didn't say anything until the pressure was on. You're profiting off Black culture, you're profiting off Black music, like, but you don't care enough about the artists and their lives.
They don't even realize they're profiting off Black culture to start with. They don't know. They don't even know that. I'm not trying to disrespect anyone's business, but you know, Resident Advisor has been there for a long time. I see, like, you know, Twitter jump on them. People being jumped on for not donating enough money to Minnesota right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
yeah, but the gesture comes like too late as well, and then there's these kind of posts that feel, I don't know, it feels performative.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. I can see what you mean. And then the thing that's got me about this is, like, you know, everything picks up like a hashtag wildfire. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there's a bit of that as well. You know, because I know that there's a lot of musicians out there who love music, but definitely didn't speak up until it got to a certain point of pressure where they had to say something, or they couldn't even come on social media. You know what I'm saying? And that, I saw that. So for the people, if that was you, I saw you do that, and I won't forget it. Like, I won't forget that.
It didn't go unseen. It hasn't gone unseen. It makes it look like like they're just happy to consume and profit, and then and then they see people getting murdered online, and you're just not going to say anything. Like, I don't know.
If you couldn't speak on this, like, I didn't even see how you could be an electronic musician. It always is one and the same thing to me. Like, this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? It's like I couldn't even concentrate on music because this is happening. It's all the same thing to me. You know what I mean? This whole, the scene, the thing, the music, and it's like, if you can't speak on this, I didn't even see you as a fucking musician. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how you can even not. But for you, man, like, I know I had a lot of people, you know, people hit me up and ask me directly if I'm cool and blah, blah, blah. But you know, you're directly in grime. Did you see anything flaky and shaky with, like, your peers and who you're around on, you know, or did anyone call you, or did you feel some type of way?
No one calls me like that. They know my thing. They personally, I'm just, obviously, I'm not really in the jeggery like that. They know my thing. I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about it and say my piece. I'm not really waiting on someone else to tell me or call me up, or, yeah, I mean, I'm not one of these people. But in terms of the grime thing, I'm trying to think. To be honest with you, I don't know what this air quote scene or that is going on over there. Like I said, man's outside of that. I'm myself. I make music. My people, them know. And that sounds kind of swag to say. I'm trying to think of. I saw a lot of people talk about it on Twitter. To be fair, on my Twitter, in my timeline, I saw a lot of people talking about it. I didn't see anyone pretending they didn't see it. So I think it was more the higher ups at the stations, the brands, these things here. And I don't really follow everyone that just is in this thing because they're in this thing. Does that makes sense? Like, I generally follow people that I have connections with and conversations with. So I won't lie, my timeline is more quite an echo chamber of thoughts. Do you know what I mean? Because I don't I don't even know. Like I'm saying, when I see stuff from other people retweeting it saying, "Oh, why ain't you said nothing? What's going on over here?" I'm like, "Oh, right, I didn't even know this person existed." But because I try not to surround myself in all these idiots. I don't really know what thing, but I am super aware that most people just they like you said, they don't know what they're doing. They're just here thinking it's for everyone, and it is for everyone to an extent. But I mean, they just don't know where it's come from. They don't understand the importance of certain things. They don't know why the woman who died on the who's working for the transport police belly, why that's important, why George Floyd is important, why all these things are important. Like, I promise you, the thing we're talking about on this stream now will be news to a lot of people. See, Shannon was saying about how they get treated at the door, and how I'm asking me for my audience and all these things. This will be news to enough people, you know.
I think there's like this narrative that like white people don't understand what it means to be black. Like we hear that quite a lot. But I think they do understand what it means to be white.
I hear you.
They do
Yeah, I hear that.
understand.
I hear that.
That Amy Cooper, that was a clear example that like, you know, when someone's back is against the wall, they understand what it means to be white. And also it's not just like, oh, comment on what's going on right now. Like if you're profiting off black culture and black music, like comment on racism all year round. Like
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I think we're going to see a big change, though. I do think we're going to see. I'm not saying that, you know, this is beyond music. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think within music, within electronic music, I think we are going to see some change. I think we're going to see it, like, you know, for good and bad. We're going to see the real racists. We're going to see the people who are with us. We're going to see people drop off. People who ain't going to want to fuck with it anymore. I think we're going to see a lot of things change, like in the next year or two in electronic music, like a hell of a lot.
One thing we are going to see as well is like black kids are going to be starting their own labels. They're going to be starting their own platforms, and then we can work with each other.
Yeah, I think that would be a big catalyst for a lot of change. Working with each other for once instead of getting outside of it, and then so we can control it. Basically, that's all it is. So we can control the things that go out, and that'll make a big difference. Working with each other, like you got your label, you got your team, and we just go on from there. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before we build up stuff that's where it's a hype and everyone wants to get involved, and we say, yeah, come get involved, then they just overtake it, and then we got to go start a new thing, and then we got to, what? Hold on, we started this thing.
Yeah.
But when you build up your own thing and we all do it, you got your thing there, you got your thing there, and we just work together. And like I said, it will be I don't know how old Shannon is, but like I'm hella old. The generation after me and the generation it's improved every generation. I love that's why I love when I see them. I'm like, I know I sound like I get so emotional. I'm like, yes. When I see like Henry and I see Shy and I see Scully and I see all these people, I'm like, yes, bruv, go on.
Yeah.
And even
the entrepreneurs.
Even them making music, like doing drill, even like Stormzy. I love Stormzy. All the people that they don't have to do what we had to do, bruv. I mean, they don't got to do these stupid rhythms. They ain't got to pretend and key up and do all this nonsense for just to be heard. They get to just do them, and that's Nang. And they don't know what Nang means, but it's Nang.
Nang, yeah, it's an old one. Yeah, nah, for real. We got all the people in the chat. Like, I'm sorry if I've missed your message. Like, I'm trying to scroll up. There's just a lot of people saying a lot of stuff. But big up all the people getting involved. I think people are liking that white people pay extra.
Cool, I'll try it out.
I can imagine the advert now on radio. Yeah, so black people are free. White people $5 a door.
more of the door.
Sound mad.
I'm rolling, bro.
That sounds crazy. I'm just trying to. That'd be good, Barry. Look at Barry having a night off, bro. Barry's normally doing bare stuff, trying to get tunes together, playing horns and that. I'm not hearing nothing from Barry. There we go. What are you saying, Barry?
What I was going to say is that, like, I've listened to everything you've said, and I just think that, like, for me, we can't rely on the establishment, and we can't rely on organisations and corporations that are there. We have to go out there and do it ourselves. We're the people that will make the change. They won't make the change. You know, You've got certain people in the governments that will say whatever they want, but it's all about money, and that's all they're interested in. But what we have to change it from the grassroots up. That's how I kind of see it. And so I'm totally in agreement in pretty much everything you guys have been saying. But
sorry, I think it's also on like white and non-black people who are involved in these underground scenes, because it happens at that level as well, to be taking a stand and doing more.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying to Ian earlier. It's like, you know, like we got the boiler rooms, we got the people, we got everybody's managers pretty much right. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like even the label I work with, like Hyperdub, you know, all of us, like, you know what I'm saying? Is that there needs to be change from everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's probably having a good look at themselves and thinking, how can we maneuver from this? You know what I'm saying? But you're right. Like, you know, we need our own magazines. Do we even need magazines? I don't know. I don't really care about magazines and journals. But if we're gonna do our own things, we need our own everything.
But see the thing with the magazines and that, why I feel like it's not as important. The project gets reviewed on the timeline before any magazine will hear it. You know what I mean? Before they get to feel, no one get. It's the feeling. The people see what if they like it. When what's the rhythm? Like Billie Jean, that you there. They played it on the signal. Everyone said that's a thing. He didn't have to go through no process of sending it to the Guardian to get reviewed.
Yeah.
5 stars in the source.
Yeah.
People said, "Oh, this is a vibes," and it's a vibes for end. And I think that's cut out all the thing. So I feel like when people do reviews and pieces and articles and journalism on our culture and our music and things like that, it will be us talking on it. That's the only time I'm hearing. I'm not hearing nothing from certain man. Basically, long story short. And I feel like the more we encourage people to be writers and be not just like the MC.
Yeah, more exactly.
Face, like, you know, the person to
more JPs.
Like, yes,
more
to
JPs.
put on the events, to put on these, you know, put on these platforms, to be them, not just always be the front face. You'll see more of that come through as well. I feel like.
Barry.
Yes, ma'am.
Just an interesting question. Like, I don't know if this ever happened, but is there any? Could you give us any story or any time that you've ever had to, like, for the cause of like creative and doing Just Jam and getting an in for, you know, Just Jam and us? Have you ever had to use your privilege at any moment to? Is there ever time you thought, "Wow, I'm going to exercise my privilege to get something"?
I've twisted stuff, certainly. I remember when Jam was shooting the Merkel Man video. I think this was about 3 o'clock in the morning. Then we went to a car park around the corner, and Mo, who was doing the directing at the time, was like, right, I want to do like a little shot here. And I just remember that like suddenly there were loads of security and police, and I knew that I was with a bunch of young boys from Newham, and the police arrived. And so I just sort of walked straight up to the police officers and started talking to them, because I knew that they would respond to me in a different way to how they responded to everyone else that I was with. And I did, like, there's been a bunch of times when we've been on shoots as well, Tim and myself, and we've been approached by the police, and I definitely have used my white privilege.
Did you put on another voice and all that?
You know, I just spoke like this, but I was very much like quite up front. I went straight up to them and spoke to them straight away about what we were doing, because I knew that if I went up and had a conversation with them, the situation would be very different than if they went up to speak to the lead MC or the lead producer or someone else. And so I'm very aware of situations that unfold. It's the obvious thing to do, because I know that they're going to respond to me in a completely different way to how they respond to everyone else on in the crew.
I don't want to just keep this thing on social media, do you know what I mean? But the social media has been heavy in the last few days, so that's why I'm talking about it. But the Allies is the turning point for me. It's like, you know, you doing your techno, playing all your Derek May and all your favorite Detroit people, but then you haven't said nothing in the last 3 days. You are not a DJ. Get out. I see these people, producers, who are quite weird because they're actually white, but I think their name is Brass something, and I saw them say on Twitter, they said, any of you white vocalists who have come to our studio, if you don't speak up on this, I'm gonna leak all your vocals untuned. I'm like, yo. I like that shit. That's an ally right there. You know what I'm saying? That's allies. But yeah, seeing the allies is nice, and not seeing the allies is nice as well, because now I know how to move forward. Because see, there's people sitting there literally thinking, go away. Sign into social media the one day and say, it's still there, go away. They see them people there, they can never ever talk to me and ask me for nothing ever again from this day forward. POC, that's another one. I don't know how you feel about POC. Appreciate people have color and stuff like that, but I feel like in times like this, it's like POCs, they disappear. It ain't people of color no more. It's like you know what I mean? You're all saying that, where's your colour gone?
It's like, man, are just scared to say the thing. Like, there's black people, there's Asian people, there's China. Just say the thing. Like, you don't have to do this.
But I feel that like POC be used sometimes though, like
because they don't want to say black people or they don't want to say Asian people.
Not even that. Not even that.
No,
I feel like the Asian people and the, you know, other stuff what ain't black, like they say that, and then we're involved in that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I feel like sometimes it's used as a way to just, when actually it's none of our fucking business.
I do feel like sometimes people use POC because they don't want to say that.
Yeah, that's how I feel. What Shannon said, I feel like they just don't want to say it.
No, because Chinese people be like POC, like talking about themselves. So they're not talking about black people; they're talking about themselves. POC.
Yeah, which is true, but they should just say Chinese.
But they're not black though. Oh, they don't want to say Chinese people.
But it just means like non-white, and it just means person of color. That's all it means. I understand the reason for it.
But I know what it means. But it's like.
But sometimes in the context,
but what does it mean? What does it mean now? What does it mean now today? Like, what does it mean during this moment of what's going on?
Nothing. Today we're talking shit. Today we're talking. No, today or these last couple, whatever, we're talking about black people going through things. So let's say that. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean the whole thing is speaking on it as the whole is like what we need to do, and like, outside of this, and you know, anyone listening and locked in, or you're listening back or whatever, like, you know, conversation needs to be had. If you're white, you know what I mean, go and speak to your dad, go and speak to your mum, go and speak to your granddad, especially. Go and speak. I'm not saying they're racist, but you know, in my head, your granddad is racist. You know what I mean? Because I you know what I mean, I know. I grew up in Essex, you know what I'm saying? I know in your head, like, I'll rob you. Do you know what I mean? To lock your door. I think your granddad is racist. So go and have that conversation, you know what I mean, outside of social media. Go and have that conversation with your family. Do you know what I mean? Put that when you're at the dinner table, make it uncomfortable. Say stuff. Ask why you wasn't allowed to have your black friend around with, or whatever. You know what I mean? These conversations need to be had, seriously. And that's the start of that. Could be the start of saying good. Even if it makes an argument, it's got to get to that argument to get to the place we need to get to. Anyway, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. This has been Sampleclart. We've been talking about racism within music. Big up SHANNEN SP, big up MANGA. Isa, Tim and Barry. Bless up. Bell me.